I always wonder that if you went to a psychic and they just told you too much, or you went to a psychic and they were just like, ah! And you're like, okay, so my life is going to be really bad.
Can you imagine? You walk into the room, she's like, oh my God, leave, sir. Leave.
Wait, we went to a psychic together. Do you remember this?
We did?
Didn't we?
Did we?
I think, was it with you? We went to Westville for dinner and then we went to a psychic.
Yeah, we sat down. She had a storefront.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you remember this? And she told me I was a writer in my past life.
Yes. Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Do you remember this?
Yeah, I do.
This was about 3 years. I just remember this. I completely forgot. We went. It was in West Village.
Yeah.
I think I paid $10, and she told me that I was a writer in my past life, and then I think she said the next few years were going to be really good for me, and they weren't. So I don't know how accurate
We
she
should
was
go back
about
and
that.
ask for money. Hey, we were here 3 years ago.
I want my $10 back. I want my $10 back.
In singles.
Yes,
Just make
exactly.
it more difficult.
I mean, I didn't see her credentials. I don't think she had like a psychic license or whatever.
She didn't show you the psychic license?
No. She was unauthorized psychic. She was an unauthorized psychic.
She was a casual psychic.
She was a casual psychic.
I can tell you a crazy psychic story though.
Please do. I love psychic stories.
All right, so my mother went back to school like 10
To be a
years ago or
psychic?
something. No, not to be a psychic. You're born that way. And she met this friend of hers, right, who claimed to be a psychic. And as they're going through their classes together, she starts giving all these crazy readings to my mom.
Ooh.
Yeah. Like,
Did your mom ask for them or did she just...
No.
I think that's rude. You don't give unannounced readings.
You know what? She's assertive.
Okay.
Definitely. You know, she's like Puerto Rican lady, but
Yeah.
like legit psychic. And
Yeah.
so the way she explains it is that she has what she says spiritual guides. So it's not her. She's connected
I've
with
heard
the other
this.
side
They
that
have
follows her.
like a guide that... Yes, I've heard people talk about this. Right, a psychic
so
medium.
medium.
Yes.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. They connect to another level.
So she says this person follows her around all the time. She sees him every waking moment of the day. And they're friends.
Ooh.
Okay. And he gives her information on what's happening on the other side. And she just tells it. But her rule is that if it's important enough for it to come up, then she has to share it.
Right. If she's like, you're going to get hit by a bus later, she'll let you know.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like that deep, but what I do know is that she now works for the FBI, solving crimes.
No. Wait, is this the lady you were talking about a couple of weeks ago who does crime solving?
Yeah. Oh, I did bring that up on the pod. Okay.
Yeah. But you didn't specify. We kind of
I'm trying to like keep
over it.
her privacy somewhat, but
That's wild. I've heard of this. People do
remote viewing.
I mean, I don't know how accurate it was. It was on the Discovery Channel, but it was people solving crimes.
No, that's real.
And they would look at a picture of a victim and say, oh, like I see her in a field, and the police would search a field. And
Yep.
It's
called remote viewing.
That's wild.
And it's so real that the U.S. government dropped like $10 million.
It's also really concerning that the FBI are relying on psychics to solve crime.
The world is so big and so small at the same time. You know, it's really like wild to think how serious they take that. Like psychics in warfare has been around for the longest time. I mean, even Hitler, he had these two twins that followed him around everywhere. It was
Not surprised.
one of his like biggest influences, because you know he was like obsessed with all that shit, like the occult.
Yes, he really was, wasn't he?
So he had these two ladies from the Vril Society. That was their coven, very, very famous coven thing. And that's why he always went out of his way to collect like occultic items and shit. And they would give him advice. And they were twins. And apparently there's a psychic connection between twins.
I have heard that too.
And so he rounded up all the twins in Germany to study him.
Yeah, that was disgusting. He did horrible things with twins. It was horrific.
Fucking weird, right? And then, then the men who stare at goats, you know how the U.S. government did that? They had like this giant PSYOPs program in the 60s. Like that's, you know Charles Manson?
Yeah.
He was hired by the CIA. This is true. A book came out about this recently where Charles Manson was hired by the CIA to run PSYOPs on his cult. So that's why he kept
PSYOPs?
getting out psychic ops.
Oh.
Yeah. Like brainwashing techniques and stuff. And that's why he would always get pulled out of jail. He would be caught for his crimes and he would go to jail and then someone would get him out. And that's why he kept getting away with everything.
Bananas.
Because he was working with the government on some level. Which is crazy. And then there's something called Operation Midnight Climax. Yeah.
What's that?
The government would go to the brothels and then they would give the hookers drugs. And then the hookers would give the ladies of the night, the the ladies of the
Sex
night,
workers.
sex workers, yes, would give the drugs to the tricks. And they would see how susceptible they were to misinformation.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then they would start basically finding out a way to thread the needle to pass on misinformation.
I mean,
and shape someone's
they've
mindset.
been using like sex work in warfare for years. That's always been a thing.
A thing, you know?
Because when people get naked, they'll tell you a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also because people look down on sex workers, that they won't think of them as a threat or something that could, gather intelligence.